Hello and welcome back to somebody on the Football Zone and to a weekend previewing this week's Premier League and Championship match and the last games before the World Cup. And we're going to start off in the Premier League with Manchester City, and surprisingly not sitting on top of the Premier League, but they are absolutely flying at the moment. 2-0 win against Chelsea in midweek, playing really well. Brentford losing to Gillingham on penalties, and recently their form hasn't been that good. Not one since the 14th of October, so nearly a month now. So been a bit disappointing. So at home you definitely back Man City for the win here. Comfortable home victory. Moving on then to Bournemouth as they take on Everton at the Vitality. And Bournemouth, obviously their Premier League form has been really, really poor as of late. 4 losses on the trot, but hopefully that EFL Cup win over Everton, funnily enough, will give them the big mental advantage coming into this one. But Everton, their form hasn't been great in the last 3 games either. So there's 2 teams that are struggling down towards the rear of the table. And I think both teams will look for this crucial win to give them some momentum going into the World Cup. But I think it'll be a draw. Moving on then to Anfield, Liverpool take on Southampton at Anfield. Liverpool, 3 wins on the trot now. Been over Tottenham last night. That could be a big win. Hopefully a sign that they're going to start getting their momentum back. Southampton, obviously after the loss to Newcastle, have sacked Ralph Hasenhüttl. I already said I thought it was maybe a bit harsh. And replaced him with Nathan Jones, Luton manager, of course. With how it works in Stoke, it's definitely a risky appointment. I give it more time before I make a judgment on this one, I think. But I think Jones won't be able to make an impact in this one. It's going to be 2-0 to Paul. Moving on then to Forest as they take on Crystal Palace at the City ground. And then, Forest coming into this one off the back of that 2-0 win against Tottenham in the League Cup where they played really well. A draw against Brentford last night as well. 1 against Liverpool, still got the momentum of that, even with the Arsenal loss. So, they're going all right at the moment. Against Crystal Palace side, who obviously lost to Newcastle on penalties, but before that, won 2 Premier League games on the trot. Going to this one, a good flow. I think this is a game that both teams will think they could get something out of. I'm going to say it'll be a draw, 1-1. Moving on then to Tottenham, who host Leeds at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And Tottenham, coming into this one off the back of 2 defeats on the trot, 1 in the league, 1 in the League Cup. So they need to get some momentum back here against the Leeds side, who have definitely had an upturn in fortune. Obviously lost to Wolves in midweek, but upturn in fortune in the Premier League before that. It's a game which maybe we could see an upset in, I suppose. But I think Tottenham will have enough here. But you never know. 2-0 Spurs, I'm going to say. Moving on then to West Ham v Leicester at the London Stadium. And this is definitely an interesting game. Leicester sitting in front of West Ham now in the standings despite their awful start to the season. West Ham, they've lost the last 2 in all comps. Blackburn loss in the week was a poor loss. I don't know, in the Europa they've been good, but in the Premier League just haven't found much momentum yet. Leicester really starting to click now. It's a game that you could go either way here, to be honest. I'm going to say a home advantage. West Ham get a big win to get some momentum going into the break. Moving then to Newcastle as they take on Chelsea at St James's Park. And this is a big game because Newcastle, of course, they're absolutely flying along at the moment. Haven't lost since August, won the majority of the games, sitting I believe on 3rd in the Premier League. What a season they're having. I think they're just going to be coming into this one full of confidence. But against Chelsea side, who have been struggling slightly under Graham Potter recently. Questions may be being asked. It's a big opportunity for Newcastle. But I think Chelsea will have enough just to take a draw. Moving on then to Wolves as they take on Arsenal at Molineux. Arsenal, you have to give them credit. Lost in midweek's Brighton, but I don't think that's really their focus this season, is it? I think Arsenal will come into this one full of confidence. Wolves, they're struggling at the moment. Got the win over Leeds last time out, but what impact will Lopetegui make? That's the question. But I think Arsenal will have too much for them there. I'm going to say it'll be 2-0. Moving on then to Sunday's games, and starting off with Brighton v Aston Villa at the Amex. And what a good week it's been for De Zerbi after a tough start. Good 10 days really, hasn't it? Wins over Chelsea, Wolves and Arsenal. Starting to click there. But for Villa, the form's just been a bit inconsistent. Obviously, great win over Man United last night, but lost to them in midweek. Anyway, it's going to be a bit up and down, I think, while he works out his best team, whatever. I'm going to say Brighton will continue their good momentum here, 1-0. Moving on then to Fulham as they take on Manchester United in the final Premier League game before the World Cup. Fulham, I don't know, they're coming into this one still on the back of a really, really strong season. Only 1 point from the last 2 games. 1 point and the loss in the League Cup. But that was the Man City, wasn't it? still having a great season. United need to find a bit of consistency, which they're starting to do now under Ten Hag. I think they will have too much to Fulham. I'm going to say 2-0. Moving on then to the Championship games, and starting off with the Friday night fixture between Birmingham and Sunderland at St Andrews. And yeah, Birmingham drew to Swansea last time out. Really, really good point. But I suppose, late equaliser. Maybe got a bit fortunate, but there we go. And Sunderland, once again, they're just struggling for consistency. We know they've got the quality in them, but just are struggling for a bit of consistency, really, aren't they? But I think, this is a close game which could go either way, really. I'm going to say it will be a draw between these two sides, 1 apiece. Moving on then to Bristol City and Watford in the Championship on Saturday. Bristol City struggling for form at the moment, I think it's fair to say. Haven't won since the 18th of October. Not going too well for them at the moment, you'd have to say. Watford in 5th, looking strong at the moment. Won over Reading last time out, of course. Finally starting to click for Slaven Bilic, which means they're probably going to sack him during the World Cup or something. I do think they'll have a bit too much for Bristol here. I'm going to say 2-0. Moving on then to Coventry as they take on QPR at the Coventry Building Society Arena. Coventry 3 wins on the trot now. What a turnaround it's been for Mark Robins' side after such a tough start to the season. But for QPR, I don't know, it's kind of been the opposite in a way, hasn't it? Because obviously they had such a good start to the season. I still think it's only a blip, but really ever since Mick Beale turned Wolves down, it's kind of gone downhill a bit for them. It's an interesting one. It's hard to call this one with performance and everything. I'm going to say it'll be 1-1. Moving on then to Hull as they take on Reading at the KCOM Stadium, and it's an interesting one. Hull, obviously, a decent start to life under Liam Rossini, 4 points from it, starting to make some ground up. Reading, not in the best of form at the moment, I think it's fair to say, lost the last 2, it's not going too well for them, and they need to find some momentum really before the international break. Will they find it or not? I don't know. Against the wholesale momentum under Rossini, it would be a tough ask, but I'm going to say it'll be 1-1. Moving on then to Luton as they take on Rotherham at Kenilworth Road. Luton obviously lost Nathan Jones in the week. It's a big loss for them. Will it affect them like it did the first time around? I hope not, but I feel like it may do. Neil Critchley would be a good appointment if rumoured. But obviously losing out in the week as well, not being the best of week for Rotherham, for Luton, sorry. Coming up against Rotherham, so they've obviously got a really big surprise win in the week, but I think Luton here still do have a bit too much. I'm going to say 2-0. Moving on then to Norwich as they take on Middlesbrough at Carrow Road. And Norwich coming into this one off the back of a relatively decent run of form. Obviously beat Rotherham last time out. Only 1 loss in the last 5. Playing best football now after a poor run of form, you'd have to say it was. And against a Middlesbrough side who, have picked up massively under Michael Carrick. So it's a game that you feel like could go either way. I'm going to say it'll be 2-0 to Norwich now. Moving on then to Preston as they take on Millwall at Deepdale. Preston 3 victories on the trot, playing some lovely stuff under Ryan Lowe. And Millwall going into this one winless in 3, drawn the last 2 0-0. So struggling for goals at the moment, haven't scored in 3. So that's kind of where Millwall letting themselves down a bit at the moment. I'm going to say it will be a Preston win with Millwall failing to score yet again. 1-0 for me. Moving on then to West Brom as they take on Stoke at the Hawthorns. And West Brom coming into this one off the back of 2 wins. Carlos Corberán really seems to have revitalised them, which is obviously great news for them against a Stoke side who obviously got the win over Luton last time out. I think Luton though probably were a bit distracted with everything that was going on, if we're being brutally honest. I'm going to say it'll be a West Brom win here. I don't know, Stoke just don't seem to have much consistency. Moving on then to Cardiff as they take on Sheffield United at the Cardiff City Stadium. Cardiff, speaking of inconsistency, it's loss, win, loss in the last 5, so I think that kind of sums it up really. Just struggling for more consistent form at the moment. Sheffield United side, who I thought were coming back into form before that loss to Rotherham, which was really, really poor result, wasn't it, last time out. But I think the Blades still probably will have a bit too much for them here. Moving on then to Huddersfield as they take on Swansea at the John Smith Stadium. And Huddersfield, what a great result it was against QPR last night. Hopefully that's a momentum booster that then Mark Rotherham need to get them going against the Swansea side, who seems to be draw specialists at the moment, drawn 3 of the last 4. So yeah, it's a game that you feel like could go either way. But yeah, I don't know, it could go either way, like I say. I feel like Swansea will be feeling quite confident coming into this one. I think, it could be quite an easy game for them to get the momentum going again. Moving on then to Burnley as they take on Blackburn on Sunday in the Championship. Big game, of course, between 2 rivals. And yeah, Burnley and Blackburn, what great seasons they're having. 1 and 2 in the Championship. Now everyone in the league nearly has played 20 games. Great season so far. They need to keep it going, of course, because Burnley had that 5-2 loss to Sheffield United, which they need to overcome. Blackburn, great result in midweek, but I think Burnley at home will be as strong as the two sides. I'm going to say 2-0. Moving on then to Wigan v Blackpool in the Championship. And yeah, this is a game which I kind of feel like has 0-0 written all over it, really. Wigan, of course, sacked Liam Richardson, which was just a really, really poor decision for me, especially so soon after giving him a new contract. Just bizarre. And yeah, Blackpool struggling for form at the moment as well, both sitting near the bottom of the Championship table. So yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting a lot from this game, and I'm going to say it will be a 1-1 draw. But anyway, guys, that's it really. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, don't stop to someone, and follow us for daily football news and subscribe to the channel, I'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.